Good morning. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Standup. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader. Today's topic, what's your story? I'm Gary Slyman. As an executive coach, I work with high performers all the time to help them build their self-awareness, understand how they lead so they can be more effective and love what they do. And have those they lead love them as well. What's your story? We're going to talk about this in two different contexts. First, you personally, professionally, and then your organization. You personally, professionally. Go back and think of back to January. New Year's resolutions, my word was focused. What were some of the goals you set for yourself back in January? Okay, here we are, November 15th, 45 days left to the end of the year. Where are you now? What kind of progress have you made? More importantly, think about it this way. What are some of the pieces of data you collected to measure yourself as you went through the year? Maybe it was, hey, I'm going to go to a course. I'm going to get a new certification. I'm going to gain this many new clients. What are the things that you put together? So what's the data? And as you look at that data, now put it in context and tell a story. What is the story that you want to tell about that data? And think about, who do I want to tell it to? So tell the story of the year. Hey, I started in January. Here's some of the real issues. I went and got the certification, thought I was going to use it this way. I wanted to get really involved more with team coaching. Here's how that worked. Here's how I acquired new clients. Here's the success I had, or here's some of the challenge. Tell the story. Stories are a great way to engage folks in leadership, but you have to have a reason for it. So what's the story that you want to tell about yourself? And then who do you want to tell it to? For what reason? Put the year in context for yourself. Okay, so let's draw a line under that. Now let's talk about you in your organization. Think about your organization now. If you can bring your leadership team together, 4, maybe 5 people, you bring them together. What's the story of your organization? Go back and look. What were the goals we set for ourselves? Client acquisition, revenue, production, turnover rate. What else? What are the other metrics that you're measuring yourself? And you bring those 4 or 5 people together and have them, so this is what I'd ask you to consider, have them all write a number of bullets down so they could tell a story for short story, maybe 3 minutes max. Tell the story of the year from your perspective. Everyone commits themselves so they don't change the story once someone else starts, and have them tell the story for the year. Look at the data. Because when you look at the data, it tells a story, but it tells a story differently for every single individual. So let's hear what the story is. Hear the story from everyone's individual perspective. Puts it in context and makes folks understand. But now you have 5 different stories out there for this leadership group. Bring it back, consolidate it, and create a story from the leadership team for the organization. What does that do for you? Well, now you have the story. Here's the year. Here's our metrics. This is what it means. This is what the data means. It puts it in context. Here's the path we traveled. Here's the challenges we overcame. And think about this year. Again, another year dealing with COVID, restrictions, bringing people back in the office. Supply chain issues. All those stories can come together, and you need to tell a story to your stakeholders. And why do you want to tell it? Make sure you have the reason on why you're telling this story to your stakeholders. Storytelling can be a very powerful tool for you as a leader. It makes people engage, it makes them get emotional about what they're doing, and makes them truly understand what you're trying to do. So this is a way to engage your stakeholders, engage the folks that you work with, so they understand where you've been and where you're going. When I engage with an executive team, one of the things I do with storytelling, we have them put together the story of us, have them tell the story of this executive team from the time they started to where they are now. So they have the context of where they've been and where they are, the path they travel and where they are now. Hope you found that helpful. Storytelling is a powerful leadership tool. Use it to your advantage to engage all your stakeholders. Hope you found that helpful. See you next Monday morning, 8:30. Have a great week.